Hi everyone, it's Tammy here, Tambaramba. Welcome to Put a Spin on It. Hope you're having a lovely weekend and playing along when and where you can. So I thought I'd do a phone cover today. So I've got some of my Bonkers pack printed on tissue paper, and then I have just got a phone case. I actually picked this one up at the op shop for 50 cents, but you could, give an old one a new lease of life. So all I'm doing is coating it in some white gesso. It actually has some black edges, so I'm just in between wiping with a wet baby wipe just the gesso off those edges, because I always add black to my colour. That will just tie it in really nicely. So then I'm just drying it with my heat gun. And then I'll come in with some colour. So I've got some Art by Marlene paints, and the first one there is Happy, that gorgeous yellow, and putting it in 3 places was generally what I do. Then I've come in with a beautiful turquoise colour, which is called Mermaid, and adding it next to the yellow. And when yellow and aqua mix, it makes a beautiful green, sort of a limey green. So I'm thinking about that ahead, about what colours I'm putting next to each other, just so I don't get mud, because I'm not drying off in between, because I want some blending to happen. Then I've come in with a pink, which is called Ballet, another Art by Marlene, and this is just a background, so don't get too caught up with it being perfect. It really is, just the background. We're going to add some layers on top of this. So now I'm drying off the top, and then I grab a stencil. Now this is, of course, it's a Crafters Workshop stencil, and I'm trying to work out the name of it. Let me just find it. So it is TCW, I think it's 346, and it's called Honeycomb. Just make sure of that. Yep, 346. So what I did is I put some white paint down, and then over the top of my dried paint, and then I added the honeycomb stencil, and then removed the paint through the stencil with a wet baby wipe. So now I've come in with another stencil, which is, for those of you in the retreat, my favourite ever, which is TCW 876 by Crafters Workshop, and it's just a gorgeous little grid, and it just blends everything. So I've come in with some pink on a little makeup sponge and just sponged it through, and like in my retreat class, I've joined the pink onto the pink, and it just kind of blends it all, and prevents it looking a bit too crazy. It kind of actually just gives it a nice finish. So now I'm going in with my tissue paper, and you'll see I'm using a little brush, and I'm just wetting it with water and running it around the edges of the shape, and that just means it tears exactly where you've put the water. So that's a really good little tip. And then I'm just pulling them off and kind of placing them a bit randomly around the place. So I'm just neatening them off a little bit, and then I've grabbed my gel medium, and then I've just quickly whacking some on the phone, and then placing those tissued shapes on top, and just adding some gel medium over the top. So I did try and put my shapes onto the edge, so it looks like it's a continuous pattern, that it hasn't just ended. And also some of them I tore and lost a little bit of the edge, so that's a really good place to put it against an edge. Now I'm drying it off with my heat gun. And then just to merge those completely into the background, I'm coming back in with that pink paint, which is Ballet, and that grid stencil, and also with Mermaid, and just blending it into the background. So just adding a bit more on the tops, and I'm just using a paintbrush to do some mark making. And you can see the difference that makes. So then I've grabbed a stripe stencil, which is TCW 5009, called Stripes. And this is just, if you've got a steady hand, it's really easy to draw black and white stripes, and I usually put them on most of my projects. But this way, and I've done it a little bit off camera, but I've just popped it along two edges, and first I've come in with white gesso and done the stripes, and then I've placed the stencil back on, covering up the white gesso I've put down, and just coming in with black gesso, and you just get really clean, crisp lines. So now I've taken a bit more black gesso and a fan brush and just added some water and splats onto the phone case. So I'm drying it off, and then I'm coming in with a few pens, Life of Colour pens. Sorry, I've gone a bit off camera here. And I'm just adding a few little lines and details here and there. And some blue. And you'll see, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm adding a little bit into the background. So because these are fluoro pens, they just lift everything. So just adding them into the background and rubbing it with your finger on top of, so obviously the blue I would come in on the painted blue, but it just gives that vibrancy. So often people ask how I get such bright colours in my designs, and this is often how, either coming in with fluoro pens or watercolour on top of my acrylic just to add extra oomph. So now I've just used my black pen to create some finish off some lines and just add in a little bit of mark making. That kind of just finishes it off. So now I just start to add some paint to the edges. I really don't think about this too much, just use my finger to swipe a bit of the same colours that I've put on the top. And then I will come in again with my stencils. Yep, dry it off first, and then grab my stencils and just adding a little bit of black. And sorry, I keep moving off camera. I just add a pop of neon green, just kind of between the blue and yellow, just to merge them together. Same with the pink, I'm just adding some little mark making. And then I think my final step, oh yes, adding a little bit of pen work, just again with mark making. It's just to make it look like it's wrapped around the whole cover. And then just the final steps, a few little flicks of paint. So I just flick a bit of black onto each side, and that just finishes it off. So I have now come in with a little bit of a deeper pink paint pen and just added a smidge to the fluoro pink. I just wanted a couple of depths of colour, so not just one pink, but then it's sort of got some shading. So just a quick swipe with my finger, and it just gives a more natural look. Sorry, I'm off camera. Okay, so now I've gone to look for my little spray box, which is just a lamp that I got from IKEA. It's a nice big box, so I just use it when I want to contain something. So I've used a fixative spray, and I've just sprayed it over the top. It actually dries really quickly, and it just seals my phone cover. So that's it from me, guys. Have a great weekend. I can't wait to see all your projects. Bye.